Welcome. My name is Bob Connor with Medibotics, and approximately over 1 million people in the U.S. have epileptic seizures which are not well controlled by medication. There's evidence in the medical literature that analysis of EEG data can provide detection or prediction of epileptic seizures. Focus groups have shown that people with epilepsy would welcome the chance to purchase a wearable device that's relatively unobtrusive if it could give them a heads up that a seizure may be coming. Part of the problem of it is the lack of prediction, the uncertainty of the seizure, which lowers their quality of life. Medibotics' solution is to incorporate EEG sensors into eyewear. These would be dry EEG sensors. Currently, the sensors which are used to detect or predict an epileptic seizure would be an array of wet EEG sensors, but they would not be something you'd want to wear around in public. We currently, with our device, have been able to use thought patterns to toggle a binary switch. We have not yet used it for epilepsy, but we're hoping that the convergence of documentation of EEG sensors and our device will allow that. This is not our device. This is our device, a patented device with the sensors being incorporated in a curved eyewear frame. As I mentioned, thus far it's been used to toggle a binary switch by changes in thought. We have a very innovative team. We have strong IP, and I have been a PI on federally funded grants. Why now? There is a convergence of dry EEG sensor, wearable technology, and pattern recognition, and these three are converging, and we think it'll be a good product. Questions welcome.
Robert, tell me a little bit more about where you need to go. What's the next major step in the development effort?
One of the challenging areas is how to have a sensor be incorporated into an eyewear frame in a relatively unobtrusive way to maintain good contact with an area of the head that doesn't have hair. And so if you look at a traditional eyewear frame, it's not designed to contact the forehead. So we're working on a curvature of the frame, which we have patented, and experimenting with either a spring-based or a foam-based to hold the dry EEG sensor against the head. So that's the challenge, and we're currently having an engineering team working on that, and that's sort of the value that we would add that no one else is doing at this time.
Is this something you're going to take to the regulatory path where you're trying to get 510K approval, or how do you intend to market this?
If we claim to address epilepsy, we would definitely have to go a regulatory path and probably 510K. It could be, the cost of it could be sufficiently low so a person would be willing to pay for it even without insurance coverage. There have been focus groups of people with epilepsy who have expressed a desire for a device like this if it was in the $500 to $1,000 range.
And can you talk a little bit more about the market and who exactly you would be targeting with this? If it's older people, younger people, who's the ideal market for this?
The market would be, start with people who have epilepsy whose seizures are not well controlled by medication. And in the U.S. alone, that's around 1 million people. And if you look at who among that population would currently wear glasses or be willing to wear glasses. In terms of wearables, that's not too obtrusive. People have worn glasses for a long time. If we targeted 5% of that million, you may not be able to read this, but at least I had some financial scenarios targeting achieving 5% of the million people whose seizures are not well controlled by medication.
And does activity affect the performance of this?
That would be an empirical issue. At least there's less motion occurring on the head, for example, than on wrist-worn devices. Apple and others have tried to incorporate spectroscopy, and the wrist moves a great deal. The head also moves, but if the glasses fit snugly, and if you have some sort of compressive element like a spring or foam or an inflatable member to gently hold, the key would be gently, you wouldn't want it to be protruding, then you could control for motion.
Well, great. Thank you very much.